Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Does the Premier recognise the enormous negative impact that the lockouts have had on Sydney's nighttime economy and vibrant nightlife, acknowledging that there are other measures that can reduce violence and keep Sydney open?
Thank you. I call the Premier.
Madam Speaker, I thank the member for her question and a constructive approach to this issue, and I do understand the sentiments that she has put. Certainly as part of this, I do want to go back a little bit in the sense of what happened and what was the reason that we put these provisions in place. And if you remember, a couple of years ago there was scenes that not many of us would like to recall, but they were horrific. We saw tragic loss of life, indeed young men who could have done anything and gone anywhere, struck down in senseless acts. And there was rightly community outrage against what we saw. And the measures we put in place were purely focused on trying to reduce those sort of incidents and keep our community safe. And I understand, as we look at that, any provisions or laws that come in, it's entirely appropriate that they are considered in terms of effectiveness and potential impacts. And we're right in the midst of that. As I went through those days, I do reflect, and I've said that as part of this, it will take a lot to change my mind on this, but that doesn't mean I'm not open to what the review finds, and that's why we have established it, and that's exactly what we will do. I mean, I've had the privilege in many ways of meeting with some of the victims' families, and if we're honest, I mean, none of us can imagine what that would be like. You have to be in their shoes, and we can't, but you can see the pain. You can try and understand what that would be like. And that's where this debate needs to really come to. We need to understand, what is it that these laws and these provisions have provided to our city. There's no doubt that they have provided increased safety, reduced violence. We have to listen to our police, our ambos, our doctors. The Senior Australian of the Year is not talking about this because he just wants to talk about it. He is the one that is actually dealing with the victims of this violence on a too regular basis. And having said that, I mean, as part of this process, I did receive a lot of constructive feedback on social media. And there are, that is part of government today, that is part of public policy. And if you have views and positions, people have every right to respond. My hope is that they're not as abusive as some of those on a regular basis, but that's part of it.
You lost your temper as well.
And having said that...
Member for Maroubra. Order. One small member from Maroubra.
Having said that,
just one small.
Madam Speaker, just to give you a sample on some of the other comments that came in that weren't necessarily seen, I got someone from a 28-year-old. She said, "Dear Premier, please do not bow to the pressure of these anti-lockout groups. I'm 28 years old. I regularly enjoy going out for drinks with my friends, seeing live bands and going to festivals. The lockout laws have not impacted any of this." Now that's her view and her perspective. And we have to be open to this. And as the review is undertaken, and you can see it's someone very eminent, Ian Callanan, who brings a lifetime experience of leading evidence-based inquiries and exercising the independence of an official of the highest court in the country, brings great expertise to considering all sides of this debate. And I have said on a regular basis, if the part of the review shows that there are changes we can make to improve the laws and help business and jobs while keeping people safe, we'll closely look at that. So I thank you for your contribution to the debate, and I'm very open to it. My encouragement is for everyone to participate in it. Everyone's got ownership of this great city. Every single person that counts ourselves lucky enough to live in what I think is the greatest city in the world, we all have a stake in it. And on that basis, my encouragement is everyone to participate who wants to as part of this review. And together, we'll continue to keep what I think is the greatest city, just that.
Thank you.